What's good, YouTube? It's RunixYGO here. The WCQ for 2026 is finally over, and we did not do so hot. We peaked at about 13,000. We had a fun time, and I've showed off why this deck is formidable within the meta, but you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. This is what we got. We ended up with 5,900 points. It was rough. In the first half of the week, it was pretty good, and I was showing some success. But definitely, I got some great replays, and we did it with a deck that we love to show off, and that deck is Magnet Warriors. I am super happy with Magnet Warriors. It performed really well, and yeah, I loved all the ratios. I played it a little bit unconventional. A lot of people don't play Sprite Elf. It was an MVP within this WCQ because of how rampant Fallen of the Virtuous is. Yeah, this deck really helped out. It could still combo to its still great potential, so I really enjoyed it. And it was a little toxic. Barrier Statue, floodgating your opponent, Block Dragon going crazy. Very similar deck to when I first showcased Magnet Warriors. So if you are interested to see how that deck plays out, you can always check my previous video of Magnet Warriors, link in the description. But just show it off real quick. Honestly, there's no changes to it other than like smaller ratios, but I feel like this is a balanced deck. This deck is good going first, this deck is good going second. It is 100% better going first, just because you're able to summon Barrier Statue, Baron, and Nappies. You're gonna have a total of 2 to 3 floodgates, including Plasma Warrior Magnum sometimes, just because depending on matchup, making all monsters Earth can definitely floodgate them. But yeah, the deck is strong just because it has super poly to board break, and you're just playing high impact hand traps just because you probably should, because your goal, it has a lot of pushes, this deck. Trying to get out Gallic Granite to get Block Dragon is the essential way to play, basically. You want to just get Block Dragon out so you could just keep extending. This deck is really good at extending, but yeah, it has its weaknesses. It's weak to Nib and sometimes Roll and Lock, depending on your hand, but it is definitely weak to Nib. To be able to compensate that, the thing is, Nib right now is not that popular within the meta, just because a lot of decks branded Sky Striker, KT, they don't care about Nib. They could either play less or extend from it, so it's nothing to them. But again, showing off the deck real quick, Adamancipator Horizon, or Researcher, really strong card. This card is most of the time gonna just get shoot Naturia Beast, and it's so fun to gamble with this card just to get like a Guardian just to negate your opponent. We're playing Cart. It is an extra normal summon. Basically, it's just to normal summon your statue, because you really don't need a normal summon within this deck for the most part. We're playing 2 Beta Magnet Warriors instead of 3. Reasons because in the end, sort of a starter, but at the same time, you just want to normal summon this, and we're assuming you're starting with something else, and that you're just gonna search this via Block Dragon, and you're able to rotation summon 2 at once with the Plasma. The 1 Barrier Statue, you could always switch this for Fossil Dyna. Fossil Dyna is a lot stronger because sometimes Earth decks, there are Earth decks that could play through this, so I believe K9 could play through it sometimes. So yeah. Barrier Statue, 3 Guardians MVP. This is best normal summon if you already have combo. It'll insulate hand traps basically, and it's not once per turn. There is a world where you can actually resummon it with Flux, and Flux is just gonna resummon this in the field, and you can negate again. Pretty strong. Playing Analyzer, this is good going second. You're hoping to hit with this, and you could fuse, you could link it. Analyzer is a must for going second. Magnet Warrior Epsilon, this is an extender. Usually you don't want to normal summon this. Same for this, you don't want to normal summon it unless you have rocks in the grave already. We're playing 3 minuses, a 1 card starter to get your quick play bonding to fuse and possibly extend your play. Playing the 1 Omega Plus, you really want to dump this with Epsilon. Epsilon usually is to dump this to have 2 level 4s, and it has a good Book of Moon effect. because usually when you use an Earth effect, which this whole deck is practically Earth, you could book a Moon Quick effect. Duotarion, this is to search your one card starter bonding, so very good there. MVP starter plus minus Magnum Warrior, really great card, great extender. Usually it's for cost, so no matter what, when you summon this, you could break through problematic monsters over 3,000. You could pop itself and it comes back to your hand. This is the best starter. Usually this will start everything to get bodies on the field to use your extra deck. Block Dragon MVP to extend, as I mentioned, you could summon this like 3 times and just go bazonkers, link summoning, Synchro 10 summoning with this. Yeah, Block Dragon's great. Delusion, I love this card, but I also hate opening it. When you draw this card, it is a pickle sometimes. You need to get this to the graveyard, that's why. And usually you don't want to open it. It is a dead card in your hand for the most part. Lastly, 3 bondings. This is this is a starter, extender, a disruptor. So 3 in 1, great card. That's all the engine. Again, you could play the non-engine however you'd like, based off preference, budget, and your meta. So yeah, that is the main deck. Let's just go quick to the extra deck. We're playing the package for Super Poly, Mud Dragon, Theseus for KT, and Garura. That's pretty balanced right there. Playing the 1 Conduction Magnet Warrior. This is an starter and an extender, depending on if you have to use it to fuse into it. Great to floodgate sometimes depending on the deck, but usually you do not want to keep this on your end board because you will get super polyed, because you'll make everything Earth. They get to choose what they could send to the graveyard, so proceed with caution. Flux, amazing boss monster. It is a bounce. It could bounce any Earth and 1 card on the field. It can also target any Earth and you could special summon it. So yeah, just keep in mind that you cannot use both effects in the same chain. That's too broken. They had to nerf this in some way, so that's how they did it. This is a really strong disruptor your opponent's turn. It's also a good super poly target sometimes if you want to make your opponent, if they like try to imperm something and you dodge the effect. Nat Beast, War Criminals here with Baron. These are just oppressive, unbelievably oppressive against Ennacraft and Sky Strikers, praying they don't have Forbidden Droplet. Gallic Granite, this is your choke point. You really want to get this to go off to get Block Dragon. Reaper Dachis is mainly used to go into Curious. Curious is to either dump Block Dragon, or you could dump a tech card called Dragon's Mind, because you do have a 2500 attacker defense card, which is Block Dragon and or Delusion. You could negate the effect and then you could set it the same turn, so next turn you have another Omni negate here, and it's a counter trap, so it's pretty strong. So that's the reason we have Reaper Dachis. So I have IP Masquerena. This is just to go into SP, and or sometimes your opponent you can also go into the Stone Trooper. Stone Trooper is really strong as well. It's a good disruptor to just pop a card. Nowadays, removal is more important than negating nowadays. We're playing Asa. Asa is an important card too. Depending on your opponent's graveyard, you could use that to further link. You can also just crash into stuff and you could get your Conduction Warrior and just go full combo like that as well. Asa is very important to have. You need Earths in the graveyard for Block Dragon. Playing Sprite Elf too. Again, you don't have to play Sprite Elf. You could play Cross Sheep. I play Sprite Elf because of resummoning the level 2s and IP to access your extra deck a little more. The protection for its points. Elf is just strong right now, and if Elf was summoned via IP, it has its own protection too. So yeah, if they try to go to battle phase, you can easily just negate the attack with Delusion. Sprite Elf is very strong for the grind game. Little Knight, you go into this with SP or IP, and then SP Little Knight, and then Little Knight sometimes to just get any problematic floodgates via like Dimensional Fissure. You need to go into this. And that's it. Lightsworn and Stone Trooper. This is the deck. I hope you guys liked my replays. They were fun and interactive. It wasn't just like OTK, FTK, and then they just quit, go next when you're doing combo. I actually played the game and it was fun. I went from stage 1 to stage 2 with this. I played half the second stage with this, and then I went to Elfnote. So I hope you guys enjoyed these replays. It was fun. This was a good WCQ. Unfortunately, I could not play as much, and I ended up dropping a lot harder. It was a really hard meta, but I enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let's go. Duels for stage 1 and 2. This is with Magnet Warriors. We're playing against Radiant Typhoon, and we go first with an MVP. I'd like to mention again, this is optional. Elf is not optimal. Sometimes people just use Cross Sheep, but with Faller, the virtue is so rampant. Sprite Elf really did come clutch, and I wanted to show it off with this first great video that I genuinely love Sprite just because of how strong it is, gives you the grind game, and just link a lot better with the IP and everything like that. So against Radiant Typhoon, we go first here, and we have a pretty good hand. We have good baits here. We have 2 pushes here and Called by the Grave here. They try to Ash here, and this is a little worrisome for me, but we have to Call by the Grave here. If they maxi us or mulch armies, it's going to be a little bit sucky, but it goes through, and this is uninterrupted, full combo here. I believe we get drolled though, so our opponent drolls us here. And this deck can still play through Droll. You can quick play Magnet Bonding before Droll stops you. So we still add here. And we get Conduction Magnum. And we still combo like normal. Special Summoning. The effect for plus to get Epsilon. Epsilon to dump Beta instead. This time it's because this is in our hand. We can't dump. But we go into IP. You're wondering why we cannot add anymore with Droll and Lock. So we have to play differently here. And we IP, and then we just fuse the 2, going into Conduction. The reason we sequence this way is to get a second normal summon with Omega Plus. That's why we didn't send it. Oh, normal summoning here, getting Delusion, going into Sprite Elf with the effect of IP Masquerade and normal summoning Barrier Statue. In total, what we have here, really strong. We have a Book of Moon with Omega, Barrier Statue. We have Delusion to pop a card, but in total we have 4 disruptions, playing with Droll and Lock, a really high impact card here. And our opponent goes draw phase. They try to fall under the Virtuous. They cannot target these 2 cards because of Elf. Therefore, they cannot special summon due to Barrier Statue. In addition, mind you, this effect has because we linked it with Sprite Elf, it's protected. That's why I'm showing off this replay, because Elf came MVP here during stream. I was just like, oh my goodness, this is working out. Then they have Eldom. They can't special summon, so instead they normal summon, trying to battle phase. While they try to battle phase, we use the effect of Delusion because they're threatening, and then we just chain to Book of Moon. So we get plus and minus, and we Book of Moon their normal summon. They still can't special summon. We're playing really good defense here. They set one. And then, crazy thing is, they have a second Fall under the Virtuous, meaning they could pop again. However, Sprite Elf is doing work here. How we're gonna outplay them, we have Super Poly now. Now we could still fuse our board and still dodge some effects. We rank 4 to Gallant Granite. Under Elf. Crazy because they can't target. Therefore, it is protected. We get Block Dragon. Plus special summoning because it got dumped. Then we get minus. Special summon Block Dragon. Now they can't destroy anything. But instead we go to Flux. We're going to try to threaten them here with Block Dragon. Getting chain blocked. They can't Ash here. So we just freestyle here. We get Researcher, Cart, and Guardian. We try to bounce the 2, and now they're forced to use the effect. They're gonna destroy Flux, which is totally fine. We're gonna go for lethal here. So I bounce my Omega, and then Researcher will now try to dig for any rocks. And we hit. We get Beta again, and we go into Beast. The weakness of this deck. Then we just get Adamancer Researcher again. Link 3 into Stone Trooper. Stone Trooper getting 3500. Getting back to illusion, normal summoning, attacking, and this is lethal, all because of Sprite Elf. They drolled us. That was really difficult to play through, but with barrier statue getting protected, this was a beautiful game to show off why I like Elf sometimes. Elf right now is a meta call. It's optimal, but I don't think it's the best. But again, it did its work here. It protected. It gave me the grind game, and it made me use the extra deck more with its extension. Thank you, Sprite Elf. So this duel, we are playing against a very unique deck. We're playing Elfnote Centurion. Really interesting way to synchro it up. They had a very formidable board, practically going uninterrupted. They Fortuna here, then they power Patreon. Going into Baron. They threaten Baron, so they're already insulated real well. So I just try to Ash here to just try to get some sort of interaction because I thought we were going to get cooked. They practically go uninterrupted here, and I'll just let them play. During stream was crazy because I was thinking to myself, how am I going to break this board? Because I have to get super lucky with my draw, and they're going to rip my hand. I thought this game was going to be over. Seeing how they pop off, I'm very used to this. They go into Centurion. That's what threw me off. I thought they were going to go into like Branded, but instead they do something pretty unique here. Bridging into Centurion, which seems pretty strong uninterrupted. They wake up, then they synchro into Auxilla. Auxilla getting Gargoyle, banishing to dump the trap, going into Crimson. Crimson getting Chain Block, getting Synchro Rumble, getting back Power Patreon, synchroing into Dawn Dragster, and then going into Cosmic Blazar. Crazy end board. What they have here, if you're wondering, they have a Spell and Trap negate, they have a Omni negate, they have a Synchro to another 12, so I'm assuming it's going to be another type of Omni negate. 3 disruptions plus Rhapsody. 4 disruptions after playthrough here. I thought it was going to be over because I would have to draw my out, and in stream was so funny. Draw phase, Destiny draw for the Super Poly for the win. 2 win monsters to get rid of their Omni negate. Cannot respond to it. Discarding Duo Terion because we have Magnet Bonding in our hand. We Mud Dragon. They try to Elfnote to, I guess, panic. So I just try to chain to try to protect Earth monsters. But sadly, when they Regina, they're still gonna bounce with Lucina. And now, this is the scary part. We try to analyze, trying to hit here, and funnily enough, they use Madness here to negate that. I thought that was interesting, but they get Tinia. Now, we are praying to God. If they get Magnet Bonding, it's over. We can't play. Or sorry, if they get Beta, it's over. And instead they get Bonding, banishing it, normal summoning, because Dragstar was the issue. If they got our Beta, then they could have negated it. The game was over. So my goodness, luck was on my side. I Magnet Warrior to fuse, going into Conduction Warrior Magnum Plasma, making everything Earth, getting the Bonding now. Then we can't use Bonding. We have to get rid of Dragstar some way, shape, or form. We go into Little Knight here. Little Knight banishes away. Now Bonding is free unless they Ash us, and thankfully it was, because now Magnum is online, doing its thing, getting plus to get Epsilon. Epsilon to dump Omega, or sorry, not Omega. Yeah, Omega. And then Gallic Granite. This is a choke point. If they negate this some way, it's over. We get Block Dragon. We got lucky. Banish 3. Synchro, or Link 3 into Stormtrooper. Block Dragon. Chain blocking. That's great about Stone Trooper. You can chain block here. Block Dragon, we're just freestyling, getting Adamancer Researcher, Barrier Statue, and Cart for that double summon. Adamancer Researcher, they knew it was over. I was going to destroy their board. I was going to get Barrier Statue on the field. They can't continue. They would have to try to attack into it. But I think we had enough pops with Stone Trooper and everything that their normal summon would not have mattered. But they wouldn't be able to special summon either way because they don't have any Earths, Elfnote. They're all light and all the other attributes. So that was a great game. Got lucky with not getting hand ripped, and we got lucky because Super Poly was the great Destiny draw right there. Amazing game on my stream. So a game going first. We're actually playing uninterrupted, I believe, and go full combo. We get Dragon's Mind in our hand. So that's great. We have full combo with bonding, so assuming it goes uninterrupted here. And spoiler alert, it does go uninterrupted. And we play like normal. So this is a great way to show off the deck. As always, it has not changed. Magnum, get special, plus minus. Getting plus to special Epsilon. This is always normal thing, sending. Instead, we don't do Omega because we have it in hand, so we Gallic Granite for plus, attach for Block Dragon, link 2 into IP, and then use the effect of Block Dragon going into Elf. Block Dragon getting us Beta, Cart, and one more Beta, I believe. I don't think we normal summoned yet. Normal summon for a second copy of minus. Using the effect to fuse the two into Plasma Magnum. Getting second Magnum bonding for our turn. Researcher to try to hit, and in addition to double summon, normal summon, Beta. And we hit. We already hit with Guardian. Going into Nat Beast. Vanishing. Going into Block Dragon, getting Researcher, synchroing 10 into Baron, setting, going into Delusion, and ending. Now, if you're wondering why we didn't go for a statue or so, one, we didn't hit, and yeah, we have so much in our hand. So instead, we do it this way. And what we have here, if you're wondering, this is the only scary thing. I did misplay a little. This should be in the graveyard. This should honestly have been instead somehow, some way, shape, or form. It should have been something like Stone Trooper or just Awesome. We're very vulnerable here. In total though, our disruptions are 2 Floodgates, Earth, and Naturia Beast. We have a 1 Omni Negate, 2 Omni Negates because of Dragon Mine and Baron. Delusion to pop a card or steal a card. Then plus or minus to either negate an attack or redirect an attack. Monster negate with Guardian. And then we have still bonding to bounce a card. And then still reborn Guardian again to negate. That's 10 disruptions. And then we still have Elf protection and IP to SP. So that's about 11 to 12 disruptions our opponent has to play through. The world is your oyster, and we're golden. Our opponent goes, and we're playing against Ennacraft. They Dimensional Fissure. We're gonna negate that. The only scary thing again is if they droplet, but we have Dragon's Mind. We negate. And I think they knew they only had spells and traps. They wouldn't have been able to play because the pendulums are still spells. So that was show off an uninterrupted board how much layered disruption and options you have for this deck. So there's no right way to sequence. It really all depends on what they hit you with, and when they don't hit you with anything, you'll end on some board like this in some way. Another game against Ennacraft. We go first, and I wanted to share off this game because this is a pretty much full combo with a pretty good hand. We have full combo, but I do want to mention a misplay. We don't use Curious properly. We didn't send Dragon's Mind. We were tired. It was a hard game, but I want to show it off because we still make a formidable board. So we use minus this combo, normal summon for insulation, and plus we have Called by the Grave, so we go into Magnum. Magnum gets us bonding. Bonding gets us Magnum. And then
special summon as always, plus gets special summon Epsilon. Epsilon gets Omega. Special summon rank 4, Gallic Granite, Choke Point. If they negate this to get Block Dragon. Synchro into Reaper Docket. See, we were trying to get Curious, but instead we just misclicked. I don't know what I was thinking. We're supposed to have Dragon's Mind. Just pretend we had Dragon's Mind here, even though we didn't. Just because that was supposed to be the card. I don't know what I was thinking to dump. I think, yeah, I just dumped a I don't know why. It was a misclick. But anyways, we still go. Special summon Researcher. Researcher, I believe, hits with Guardian. But instead we get Beta, because 2 plus 3 means we get a Floodgate, Naturia Beast. And then double summon. Synchroing in the IP. Going into Sprite Elf here. Sprite Elf to get Researcher again. And then get back Block Dragon, go back into Baron. And then banish again, or get Delusion, and then double summon. And here is the end board still. Still a really strong one, but we're supposed to have Dragon's Mind. So in total what we have here is 2 Floodgates, 1 Omni Negate, 1 pop with Delusion, Super Poly to bounce a card with Flux / special summon Guardian, so 7 Disruption, Called by the Grave. 8 disruptions our opponent has to play through here. And there it is, Ennacraft. Playing spells, and same thing. They just keep playing spells, and we just keep negating. Yep, that's the FTK that this deck can do. I was really proud to do this. When you go first with this deck, and they either you go uninterrupted, you're winning 9 times out of 10, unless they super poly and droplet you all at the same time. Second to last duel, we're fighting against KT and we go second. Yeah, we'll bait a lot and our hand is all gas. So yeah, we had all the extenders we had. Opponent Recos, adding Rotary. So the only thing we got is Roll and Lock. And thankfully, I think that was enough. They Rotary, getting Mix, or special normal summoning Mix, going into Cool Tune Remix, and Phase. Knowing they couldn't do much after that, we get Block Dragon. So our hand is actually very good. Send the 2 for Magnum, getting plus sending Omega. Rank 4 into Gallic Granite. This is Choke Point, however this is a bait. We already have Block Dragon, that's why. So what they do, they try to use Remix's effect, get Cool Tune Mix, getting Reco, adding, and then I believe they could Synchro from their hand. Then they can make Track Maker, using the effect to Chain Block, and popping cards. So we just super poly their board. Even though they're still gonna pop our stuff, we discard the Block Dragon because it actually doesn't matter whether it's in field or hand. We get Theseus. Banishing that was unfortunate. They have Cool Tune Synchro. We go in the IP. Banishing the 2, getting Block Dragon. Going into Stone Trooper, we are threatening to OTK them. Chain blocking to Block Dragon. Really, really good there. We get Researcher and then the 2 betas. We have not normal summoned, I believe, so yeah, and they Roll and Lock, but I think we're all good here at this point. We Researcher and seeing if we're gonna hit, they effect Veiler here. So we're playing through all this disruption. We played through a pop. We played through Roll and Lock. And then we just minus. Going into Garura. Because Garura can do double damage when it attacks directly. Then we just Magnet Bonding, sending back the 2 that were banished. And then we get Flux. Flux special summons, and we're practically at lethal. We're at 11,000, sending Delusion, banishing the 2 Delusions up, and we just battle phase. Shows how you can freestyle with this deck. Even though they disrupted us, and yeah, sometimes you just have to like weave your plays and bait your opponent, and still you get the extenders that you need because just Block Dragon is just that crazy. The last and final duel is against Exosisters, and we go second. Nib is not as popular nowadays, and oof, Dimensional Fissure has been an issue to out just because we do use the graveyard. And yeah, thankfully Nib was enough to stop this combo. So before they try synchroing more, and they had Evenly Crazy, we just tribute their whole board and they set 2. Our issue is this Dimensional Fissure, and we still managed to be able to break through. We had the freestyle though. We have Gassy, we have the Fusion, Magnum, Adamancipator for trying to hit with it. It's crazy. So we normal summon, try to bait here, seeing if they'll get something. We get Epsilon still. Then we Adamancipator Researcher. So we're trying to see if we can get something here. And we're seeing if we can hit. We hit. We get Guardian. And then now we just try to fuse. The reason we're fusing away the Guardian is because we need this on the field just in case they do something. Because Guardian is not going to do anything. They don't have anything to negate other than having a Nib or something in their hand. We have Plasma. And then because with that, we just go into SP Little Knight, try and get the out with Dimensional Fissure. It works. Now we can go into Beast, Naturia Beast, any spells that they try to use. We just banish there. And then we just send 4 Magnum to go off, and then Epsilon sending, special summoning, and they just knew it's over. We had too much to play through. The combos is not absolute here. You have to just go based off the game state. So it's hard to sometimes just show off what to do, just because there are many ways to get to the same end board. Alright guys, this was the Magnet Warriors for the WCQ of 2026. This is pretty exclusive to Master Duel just because we have Baron, and we get Curious, unique cards, and we get Elf. So yes, I really enjoyed this deck a lot. Down the future though, I don't know if it's gonna get any more horde or get any better. There is Adamancipator support coming out down the line in the future, but that's not gonna be for a while. I think this deck has finally been going down in popularity just because of Branded. But yeah, this is Magnet Warriors. It got me to stage 2, and then I ended up playing Elfnote just because I wanted to switch it up. The deck going second does have its struggles. Going first, you're gonna win unless they maxi you. You have so many ways to still play through Maxi and Fuvalos that you could still make a formidable half board. Granted though, it is breakable. It's scary, Super Poly and Droplet, but when you're not fighting that or they don't draw that, yeah, it's almost impossible for them to get through Barrier, Statue, bouncing their card with Flux. There's just too much layered disruption within this deck, but it has its weaknesses again. It doesn't have recyclability in a grind game. It's just that you're gonna have such a strong board with Floodgates, Omni Negates, and Protection, and just big bodies on the field that you're just gonna blow them up next turn. So this is Magnet Warriors. I hope you guys enjoyed. I truly love the Magnet Warrior community. They're really positive, even though we're making and creating war crimes with Barrier Statue. People don't like it, but the deck seems fair and pretty healthy in the meta, especially in best of ones. I mean, it struggles going second and it's strong going first, but that's not to say that this deck can't brick, and has its choke points. For example, Gallic Granite. Getting this means that if you don't get Block Dragon, the game is super harder. but it is pretty consistent too. But we also have Curious to also alternatively go to plan B. But yeah, that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had a fun time making this deck, or playing this deck. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to Elfnotes and see how that goes. But this is gonna still be a deck that's gonna attest the time and still be meta relevant for a while. So I hope you guys can give this deck a try. Again, for all who don't know, Elf is not necessary. You can play Cross Sheet if you want. It's just that I played a lot of Fallen of the Virtuous and Branded. They couldn't get through Elf, so I really enjoyed Elf. Elf was an MVP for mine. It made me do the IP to SP combo. I valued that a lot actually. Even though sometimes it will conflict with barrier statue, but keep in mind again, if they somehow out it, I mean, you still have Flux to bring it back, and you have some protection for it. So yeah, that's it guys. Thank you guys so much. RuneXYGO out.